This is my story of the Everglades Challenge for 2019. Here we are coming up in the car, getting ready to get into St. Pete, going over the bridge, catching a look at the start island for the first time. This was up from a very high vantage point. We could see the whole bay.
Chip's gonna get it thumped in the head. Here comes 3/5 of the paddleboard group right here.
No. We have to see your spot before we can move you to the next station.
But I suggest you invest in that. But if you're okay with what you have, I'm not going to fail you for that. It's just a suggestion.
Here comes a mother hen right here. She's taking care of us, keeping an eye out, making sure we're safe.
Do my best.
Thank you so much for all the hard work you do.
You're very welcome.
It's you know, it's nice knowing somebody's watching that spot.
It's my pleasure.
Here.
Chesapeake, T-Jam.
Here and ready.
All right, Chief.
Here.
Clueless.
Here.
MZ.
You here.
Toasty.
Here.
Clam Counter.
Here.
Cocoa Plum Navy.
Yep.
Colorado.
Our goal for the first day was to get as far south as Dog Island, which is just past checkpoint 1. There's a great little rest area about 25 miles into the race, just after you go under the Sarasota Bridge. You can get off your board for a few minutes.
300 miles starts now. Oh. Thanks to Bill and Thad for lending us the boards. So 25 miles in, first brake stop. There's the Intercoastal over there. I'm just south of Sarasota. You can see Sarasota in the background there. Fleet's pretty spread out at this point. Josh took a flyer. He's up ahead. He's on a mission, and he looks like he's doing pretty good right now. I'm in second. I'm not sure what happened to Chip. I lost him in Tampa Bay. So first 25 miles in, it's pretty tough. We had about a 10-mile-an-hour headwind the whole way. Sloppy seas, lots of traffic on the water. Lots of boat traffic, big boats, little boats, sailboats and little tiny boats, and a couple of paddleboarders. Day 2. Had a nice campsite on Dog Island, right next to the old rail trestle. Still flat waters. Hoping to make some progress down through Charlotte Harbor before the wind kicks up today.
Today's goal was to paddle from Dog Island across Charlotte Harbor while it was still light winds, then down along Pine Island, and then past Fort Myers Beach and into a small island called Bowtie Island, which I camped on last year.
So I'm about halfway across the first little span here. So far the wind's not built up. So the wind did fill in, and boy did it fill in hard. So I pulled into this little cove here to take a break. You'd never know, just right outside these mangroves was just about the most hellacious wind I've paddled in a while. And then it's about another, I don't know, 10 miles to my campsite. Gonna camp there tonight, same place I camped last year, Bowtie Island. Spent the night with Veterans Voyage last night. Yeah, it was kind of sandy, but it was flat. I got some good sleep last night. I slept about five solid hours, about 6 or 7 off the board. How you doing, Josh? You look like, look at Josh's shirt. You didn't sleep at all? You can sleep good the night before though. I got like 2 hours that night, so.
I got it.
So that's the EC for you. We already had 2 people scratch. We're hoping the third one.
2 paddleboarders.
2 paddleboarders scratch.
Stay in the fight, man. Stay in the fight.
I'm hoping for Mike to make it through his demons, and that's the thing about this trip. Everybody faces their demons. It's just a matter of what you do when you meet them. But you got to stay in. We're hoping to make Chokoloskee tonight, or maybe Indian. I might just stop at Indian Key because I think the tide's gonna be headed out, so I might wait till in the morning and go on in. Last year I pushed into Chokoloskee and I was so freaking tired that I was getting stupid and almost got killed. So I think I'll stop just short of there this year.
Left Bowtie Island, headed out Wiggins Pass, down the coast of Naples, back in at Gordon Pass, and then down to Big Marco, stopping by the hamburger joint, and then going to Goodland.
Veteran Voyage, showing how to get it done. One stroke at a time. That's how you get to Key Largo. One. Little bridge here, heading through the Wiggins Pass. Coming over here to have a look at the ocean, see what it's going to look like for the next leg, which we have to be on the outside going down to Naples. Veterans Voyage. Hey Josh, what do you think? I think we're going to have to go out a little ways, huh?
Yeah, I think the further we get out, the bigger it'll be, and it'll be nicer.
Yeah.
14 miles, 1 mile an hour.
14 hours.
We'll be there.
See you next week.
We'll be there tonight.
We can look at the map 1,000 times, it doesn't say any better. Pulled up to this restaurant here. We gotta wait about an hour for the tide to change, and that'll make it perfect for us to get up to Goodland. So we came in here, but we actually had any cheeseburgers. They said, yeah. How many cheeseburgers did you order, Josh? How many cheeseburgers? 1. That's all you ordered. That's it. Here. 1 for here. 7 to go. 3 to go.
3 to go.
I think she's getting you 4 for here and 3 to go.
We'll put them all
That's
in my rucksack.
keto for you.
I'll put them all in my rucksack.
4 cheeseburgers.
protein, man.
4 cheeseburgers, no bun, and all the lettuce and tomato that you can stand. Oh, and throw on some mayo too. Hey, and look at that. A little bit of civilization here. Good job so far. We're halfway. Was this day 3? Day 4? Today's Tuesday. That must be day 4. Lose track of days. That's awesome. Had a pretty decent little sleep here on this dock here last night. We're in Goodland, and we're gonna ride the last of the tide out. Head over towards Indian Key Pass. Should catch the tide going in over there. Be at Chokoloskee here in a couple hours, and then we're in the Everglades, just in time for the big wind to come along and push us from behind mostly, but be protected as well. So that was the plan. Plan's working. Keep on the plan. You got anything to add, Josh?
I like to say, plan your paddle.
Paddle your plan. There you go. That's it. Plan your paddle, paddle your plan.
Until all shit
And then change your freaking plan like 100 times.
Changes at the first shot of the engine.
That's it.
Sure as hell does.
Don't stick to the plan. Gotta be adaptive. Gotta roll with it.
All right, now where are we going?
Day 4, we traveled from Goodland to Chokoloskee, checked in at checkpoint 2, and then continued on to Broad River campsite. This is a muddy ground site, and it's very hard to get out when it's low tide, but we managed to make it happen because we wanted to be close to the nightmare for the next morning.
Did I mention you how much I love paddling flat water? Last night, after we got off the ocean, we had a nice 30 miles of flat, 20 miles of flat water. And then today, we were at mile 153, starting out. We got some nice flat water to start out. Looks like the ocean's not gonna be too bad. And then we'll be out of the really open waters exposed and in the Everglades by the time the wind kicks up this afternoon. It's supposed to get up to high 20s, maybe even 30-mile-an-hour gusts. Shout out to my fellow paddler Mike, still on the course. He stuck it out. It had a hellacious crossing of Charlotte Harbor, I'm sure. I don't think there is such thing as an easy crossing. We had half an easy crossing, or a third of an easy crossing. But Mike had the wind on his nose the whole time, so much so that he had to take 2 sup paddles and tie them together to make a kayak paddle, so he could get across the thing. But that's what it takes to finish this race. It takes perseverance, it takes commitment, and it takes a little bit of intestinal fortitude, a whole lot of intestinal fortitude. 12:20, checkpoint 2 attained. Pretty uneventful, smooth crossing this morning. 12 miles open water. Josh over there looking pretty good, hanging in there. So anyways, we're gonna get fueled up, get resupplied, and then we're gonna head on out into the glades. We got about 2 more hours of tide left, maybe a couple hours of current after that, so should have a pretty good should push into the glades, and then we'll just be hopping from chickie to chickie, maybe take a break every now and again. Josh did not bring his big knife this time. I'm kind of disappointed.
I wish I had.
He got a pretty good sized knife, but it's not as big as the great big old black dagger. See that knife? I thought I had a knife. I don't have a knife. That's a freaking knife. That is a badass knife. So that front moved in today. We got some really wild looking clouds up there. And it's just getting to be sunset.
Okay.
All right, going through the glades at night.
Oh.
There we go. There's Josh. I can't even see it. You know, I'm shining on those trees. I don't see it on my screen. I don't know if it's going to come through or not.
Shadow. Freddy Krueger.
Right through the freaking alligator trails. We ain't scared. It's tight in here. Spooky, but all good. Today's day 4, Wednesday morning. We spent the night last night in Broad River campsite. We spent the morning this morning. We got here about 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's about noon now. We're going to be heading out in a few minutes. Quite a drop off into the water, so it's pretty tough getting out of the water last night. Had a really rough night last night. The wind was blowing crazy. I kind of got cold. I fell in a couple of times. Got pretty cold. Luckily I got Josh here to keep an eye on me and make sure I didn't do anything stupid. I was getting a little loopy, but we reined it in. I stopped for a 5-minute nap on the board. By the time I started dreaming that I was floating away, I woke up.
Let me do a reenactment. Which was followed by, we're good.
We're good, thank you, Josh. I think having a partner has been awesome on this journey because Last year I did alone, and we bumped around in the dark for like an hour last night trying to figure out how to stay on the trail because the markers are missing at the Lossman's River area. And so that was kind of dicey, and between the two of us we were able to navigate our way through. Mostly Josh though. He took command of navigation, and you know, it's better if just one person leads and the other person follows instead of two leaders. So
no, but the bigger thing was when if I would make a mistake, he'd be like, hey, cool, all right, we turn right around, go back out.
Yeah, you got to support your leader.
Right? No, but the same thing, man. You were when you were doing it, it was like, yeah, it happens every time. You take the first right instead of the second right,
and you're beating upwind for 5 minutes to try to get it back around the point of that island. But
it's easy to get frustrated and angry, and all that does is like pour kerosene on everyone's fire, you know. So, and it's got to be authentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working together.
Working together. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Teamwork is not 50-50. Teamwork is 100-100. Or sometimes it's 105-105.
Yes.
And we woke up this morning, I heard a little sizzling. Josh's board's got a nice fresh patch on it now where the deck plug was pulling out.
We're just trying to make sure all the air is out, looking at the epoxy's hardened. For all you sup guys, you know, you can buy the stuff at West Marine, but you get the 5-minute stuff. This is epoxy. It dries fast. It's the same stuff in those Joe bags that cost $15 a Joe bag. This was $5.
Yeah. And I like the Gorilla Glue brand. It dries super clear. It's a couple dollars more, but yeah, that stuff, the 5-minute stuff is the stuff to do.
And this was over pressure, and at first I put the like the marine epoxy in there, just jammed it in there till it started drying a little bit. There was water still coming out, and then I just kept on putting the patch on.
And he had a piece of glass, spare glass, but you could also use I thought he might have used a triangle bandage. If I got an emergency, anything you can use to kind of strengthen that glass, that epoxy up really helps. Gives us some structure.
Hopefully that'll stay for a while.
It's going to stay good enough. We'll get the Flamingo, and then we'll get the Key Largo with it. Day 5, we left the Broad River camp, went to the Nightmare, and then traveled all the way to South Joe Bay, where we got a couple of hours of sleep before pushing on home. This is the entrance to Nightmare Creek. Doesn't look like that big a deal. You just wait. Love you, baby. Mean it. You're the best. Thinking about you hard right now. So we're coming to Nightmare Creek, and you always want to do Nightmare on rising tide. We're trying to time the tide about 2 hours before peak, which is going to give us a couple hours to get through, maybe a little bit of ebb, but towards the end, it takes about 3 hours to get through, I think. And then when we get out the other side, it won't be falling too hard yet, so I'll be able to go up the river, because there's a river you got to go up once you get to the other side of it. So one of the things about this Everglades challenge, we really realized you got to be in sync with the tides. The wind and the tides rule the day on this thing. The thing about the Nightmare is you got to be able to turn your board. If you're not a good board handling person, you'll get hung up in here forever. But if you got good paddling skills, and you can move the board around, you can duck, you can weave, you can do the limbo. There's Josh getting ready to go under a tree there, see? Just duck down and go through it. Keep your momentum up. But you gotta be able to get that board where you want it to go, and that's a crucial thing. Learn how to handle a board. So, my spare paddle is a really sweet quick blade V drive that comes in part, but it also telescopes. So I can shorten it up for going through stuff like this Nightmare, and then all I gotta do is pull it out and clip it in place, and I stand back up again if it's gonna be a long stand-up section. In the Nightmare here, you get a lot of places where you gotta kneel down because you're going under so many overhangs. I took my life jacket off too, so I have enough room to get under these branches. You're not going to go very far if you fall in here. Also, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, this morning when we got our gear ready, we made sure everything behind us was good and clean so that no sticks would grab it too much. I got my board set up where I don't have to have bungees to hold the bags on. They just directly clip to the board itself, and so that's really a sweet setup for something like this because you don't have to worry about bungees getting hung up in these branches behind you. The ones in front of you, it's not so bad because you can reach down and get those. Once it gets hung up behind you, it's a little tougher. Josh's board's 18 feet and it's got a surf ski skeg on it. So I'm going behind him to help him over any, if he gets stuck on a log, there's logs, submerged logs in here. Sometimes you'll hit one barely. Sometimes it'll be a stopper. So if there's a stopper, it's kind of hard for him to get that skeg over it. I can move forward on my board and get the one fin over, but he's got like a fin and a skeg in the back. So that's why I'm following him through here. Plus it's his first trip, so just let him lead. This is the start of the nightmare. And it's kind of fun at first, but after about 2-3 hours, you're just like, man, is this thing ever get in? When am I getting out of here? Driving it through the thickets and around. One of the things that you really got to have is a good skill set of different paddle strokes. I see so many people paddling and they got one stroke. It's forward, maybe a little bit of backwards. They can do a little bit of they'll call it a C stroke, but it's really a sweep stroke. But for something like this, you got to be able to have some braces. You got to be able to do a forward bow draw. You got to do a rear draw. You got to be able to crab sideways. You got to go backwards and forwards with very precision-like manner. Otherwise, you could be hung up in here for days. So it's really fun paddling with Josh because he's got that skill too. So I don't have to worry about him taking up time, and same thing with me. We just go right through here. The one thing I do have to do is give him a little space because everything goes fine for a little bit and then you get to a really slow spot and I'll run into him if I'm too close. So back up a little bit. That way I have time to stop this board because this board doesn't stop as quick as a shorter board. I just love how beautiful this place is. Look how tall and straight these mangroves are growing. That's incredible. It's not all nightmare. Some of it's kind of dreamy. It makes you wonder if you missed a turn. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch that one there. So we're in the tightest part of the nightmare now. And there is one little turn you gotta be careful not to take, so you always wanna make sure you're in the right place. And if you're not seeing trees that have been cut off by somebody, you know you're in the wrong place. If you see places that have been snipped off over the years, you know you're in the right place. Ooh, watch that head. Crikey, look at that booger. He's huge. He's almost as big as my arm. Look, there he goes. Look at them. Look at those teeth. Razor sharp. Look at that. Isn't he a beauty? Oh yeah, they get very aggressive when it's mating season. Luckily it's not mating season. Veterans Voyage 360. Day 4 Everglades Challenge. Heading up Harney Creek. Heading towards Snake Creek. Just got through earning his alligator tooth.
Day 5. We had a beautiful day yesterday going through the nightmare. Nice and calm waters most of the day. But we were in rivers most of the day. We got to the open water and the breeze picked up. The waves started in again. Pretty rough last night. Not too bad though. Luckily it was in our favor. Today's not looking so rosy though. We got about 15-mile-an-hour wind out of the east or northeast. The east is actually about the exact direction we're headed later on. So I don't know. I don't know which way we're going this morning. I mean, I know where we're going, but I don't know the direction. But I know the majority of the day is going to be an easterly slog. So it's not going to be a happy day. But it's gonna be a happy day when we get to get to Key Largo. We're hoping to make Flamingo here by about I think it's what, 12 miles, Josh. So that's like noon at Flamingo, which means we're gonna be getting home about 10 o'clock. So be a late night in Florida Bay. Not gonna be fun, but we're gonna do what it takes.
The last leg of the journey was about day 5.5. We left out of South Joe Bay and made it to Flamingo about noon, and then we proceeded across Florida Bay, arriving in Pelican Cottages at about 5:45 a.m. So it was an all-nighter. We managed to finish in 5 days, 22 hours, and 45 minutes.
Flamingo. Made our portage. Forgot to turn this on when my wife was here. Betsy came and met us here. We had lunch. It was pretty awesome. And we had a little break. We're going to go do the crocodile drag over and then paddle on into Key Largo tonight. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a rough night because we're done with this thing. So we're crossing Florida Bay, and the wind's blowing pretty good. We made it to the first little 8-mile stop here. Reconfigure our gear and everything.
Here we are pulling into the Pelican Cottages, and we had our boards touch the ground at exactly the same time. So we had a dead tie. We're now the only 2 people who have finished the Everglades Challenge twice, out of a total of 4 people who have finished it at all times.